Hello,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So, firstly, tell us how is the lockdown treating you?
Extremely hectic, and it's been it's been a box full of surprises. I'll be very honest, and it's been fun actually. I've discovered new sides to myself, and I'm pleasantly surprised that how homely can I be, and how consumed I can be in my own house, in my own home, in the confinement of just two people, my mother and my brother. That's it, right? So it's been a bag full of surprises, but I'm enjoying it. I have no other option but to just accept it.
And congratulations, Ketu has released today.
Whom it was
And
releasing tonight, yes, at 12 o'clock.
yes, and I will definitely watch it.
Sorry.
So, I will definitely watch it.
Yes, please watch it and do let me know what do you think of it. This is one film I'm really excited for. Though I have limited screen time, but that's irrelevant to me. I'm a part of such a huge star cast, and the fact that I'm a part of this amazing passion project made by Pushpendranath Mishra. I think I'm in some esteemed company, so I'm very happy that this film is releasing. It is actually his passion project, and he's been so deeply committed to this film, which I think is so beautiful.
Okay. And you have been working into the television industry for so many years and then shifting to the digital platform. So, how has this journey been?
The thing, see, with me, I never see it as a shift. I don't really see it as a shift to any digital medium. I don't see it as any shift. I just see it as another platform of work. I just see it as a new medium. Though there's not much of a difference, the major difference lies in a daily soap, an Indian GEC work format, and a film format. That's a very big difference. To understand the gap, it takes time to to bridge the gap between two in your own head as an artist, or even as a production, or even as a director, because these are different languages of the entertainment industry. You have to relearn, and you have to start from scratch. You have to start from ground zero. So digital is not that different because digital is an extension of television and the movie fraternity. It has movies and it has series. The better part of digital, I believe, is that it comes in series. I think that's something the Indian television needs to adapt to. Indian television needs to adapt to the series format. Only then I think we'll be able to upscale Indian TV content because television suffers timelines, and in the endeavor of giving deliveries, and in the endeavor of meeting deadlines, the quality of the work suffers, which I think digital is a step up in those matters, and that's the reason so many film sensibilities are on digital, because firstly it also caters to an urban mass audience, but the rural mass is adapted to the Indian GEC daily viewing habits. It's basically like dal chawal versus your weekend hotel food, right?
Yeah.
But both are equally important. But dal chawal is soul food. You
Yeah.
cannot survive without soul food. You can survive without the paraphernalia and all the fancy stuff, but you need the basics.
Yes.
So
And
it's not
we have,
actually, I don't genuinely see it as a shift. I just see it as a great avenue and a great platform to cater to new sensibilities and to reach out to a newer audience. So ideally, this film was made for a cinematic experience, but I think so there's some divine intervention happening, and this film it's got an amazing time to release because
yeah,
we are all suffering a lockdown, and this is the time we genuinely need some good humor, and it
yeah,
releases on the eve of Eid, which I think is beautiful, and I'm super ecstatic about the same. So I'm so grateful. I think there's some sort of divine intervention happening over here, and I think it's all so beautifully aligned with everything positive coming along the way, and with a little uh, personal losses. I have suffered some personal losses as well, but that's how life is. You've got to find a balance between the two.
yeah. And it is needed right now. We need to be positive.
See, the thing is, the minute we say we need to be positive, we are under the pressure of being positive. It's
Yeah.
like one of those telemarketing ads, hey, be positive. I'm selling you a positivity capsule. No, that's not. That's now it is supposed to be. Unfortunately, it has become like that. We are all suffering and all trying to sell positivity, and it is not working. And it's not working. It is generally not working because we need to address our pain. We need to say yes, we are suffering. We need to acknowledge our pain first. Only when you accept your pain, only then you will be able to overcome our
Yeah.
pain, and then you will be able to be happy. So the minute you're happy, the minute you're internally gratified by your own self, you won't need to seek any sort of validation or gratification from anybody. So the idea boils down to acceptance. So we have to acknowledge our own pain. And the minute we are present to our own set of problems and our own set of complexities, that's when our journey of self starts. So we don't need to be positive. There's no entitlement or there's no sense of compulsion of being positive. Don't be positive. You're facing a negative situation, you have to be negative. You know,
Yeah.
we don't have to be positive in a negative situation. If God has given you some sort of a loss, you accept that loss and
Yeah.
then move on. Positivity is in moving on, and positivity lies in acceptance. So
Yes.
that is a forward and a progressive trend, which I think we need to follow.
Yes. So your like we have seen you on in the digital platforms. You have done Poshampa, and you had been appreciated for that role. So how was your experience working with Mahi Gill, Sayani Gupta, and others?
So it is I think my best experience was of working with Shumon sir, the director, Shumon Mukhopadhyay, and I totally cherish my memories with Shumon sir, and I have not even spoken to him since a very long time, and I'm actually missing him since I just started talking about him. I'm missing Shumon sir because he had given me so much liberty to just freely express myself. He never judged me. I never felt any sort of pressure of being correct and of sounding intellectual and of sounding very on point. I was just given the liberty to just be yourself, and he was tweaking me. He tweaked me from the left, from right. He tweaked me from the center, from top, from the bottom, and then that's the mark of a great director. When the director knows his when the director knows his actor, and he was
Yeah.
just molding me. He was molding me, and I was all there. I just surrendered myself completely to him. So I miss Shumon sir the most. And working with Mahi, Shayoni, Imad, and Shivani, and the other star cast has been a very sublime and uh, a very what do you call it? It's been very. I've discovered a journey of discovery. I've discovered some new set of emotional complexities. I've discovered a new set of emotions. I've discovered a new sense of approach when it comes to people and how they deal with things. And because they obviously come from a different set of life, a different value structure. They come from different parts of the country. They've seen different, and the beauty was coexisting together. And how the the best part I think of Poshampa Starcast was that they were all surrendered to Shumon sir, and they had
Okay.
complete faith in him. We never saw the film till the film had its cast and crew screening. I still haven't seen Ketu. So I'm not one of those, and I like it when I meet these kind of people who just who have faith in the director, because the director is telling a story. At the end of the day, how many scenes and how much screen time you are required in the story is the director's prerogative. It shouldn't have to do with anything with the actor. An actor's job is to deliver the goods and just let it be. So this is exactly how I have approached my work over the years. Even in television, I never interfered with any sense of creative. But yeah, I always stood up for what I believed for my part and for my character, because I was living the character. And I'm very proud of the fact that I have creatively collaborated with some huge-minded people who have always offered me a very wide and a very macro perspective towards life. And this is what I want to credit Shumon sir for, because he gave me a very gorgeous perspective on Shikha, of being spiritually on a higher pedestal in her head. Not even though Shikha in her head was ever on a higher pedestal. Shikha was on a very intellectual higher pedestal in her head because she thought that she was uh, freeing these children from a life of misery and a life of poverty and a bad life. But you can't blame her for doing that because she has suffered the consequences of the street child life. So I have explored that side of the world, of a person, of a woman, and I am very, very surprised, and I'm very happy, and I'm more than happy. I'm content. I'm very content that I explored it correctly. Now in retrospect, when I look back, I think it's been a very fulfilling journey. So I'm content. It's been deeply gratifying and fulfilling, and I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to how Bhoomketu is received now. It's a diametrically opposite film of Poshampa. It's a heartwarming tale of this man who comes with his own set of people, his own set of journey, his escapades, his work, his life, his personal life, and it's a beautiful tale. It's a heartwarming tale of a man.
Now that you had mentioned about television, I would like to ask, like, there were some fans who were also asking about Sasural Genda Phool and Bhasker Bharti. So, do you have some fond memories of from that show?
I have all sorts of memories from both the shows. I did one show for 8 months, which was Bhasker Bharti, and I did Sasural Genda Phool for 2 years. So I have all sorts of memories. But I was watching this one song. Somehow I was scrolling. I was scrolling on YouTube, and I don't know, out of the blue, a Bhasker Bharti episode just popped up, and I happened to watch the episode, and it was a song sequence we had shot, and I just recollected that during the shooting I fainted on the sets, and I had to so everybody got scared when I was dancing at 5 in the morning. So we had extended the shift by 20 hours, and I was dancing at 5 in the morning. It was a Karwa Chauth sequence. So, so I was turning, I was taking turns,
Yeah.
I think I took some 34, 35 turns and I fainted. So I think that was a very funny experience which I remember. That's one memory. And Sasural Genda Phool, we are still on touch. We're still in touch. The cast is in touch with writers Zama. I met Vitali some years ago, and Sasural Genda Phool, the issue is that I was so deeply involved in my job that I had no sense of time. I had no
Yeah.
sense of dates, months, years. I had no sense of climate. My body had lost temperature because I was confined to an AC studio. So I never, my body never reacted to extreme summer. My body never reacted to extreme winter. I was just in an AC studio for years. So I lost sense of my body lost sense of temperature. So if I have to remember what I was doing on one particular date and one particular patch of my life, I have to remove an episode and see that this is what I was involved in. So it's a very scary thing. And I remember post Sasural, I could not recognize myself without a wig, and because I got curly hair and I couldn't straighten my hair every day, so I couldn't recognize myself without a wig and a sari. So, and I actually used to teach my mother how to wear a sari, and I was like quite a snob about like, Mom, you don't know how to wear a sari, I'll teach you better.
Suhana was damn amazing. Like, she was I tried to imitate Suhana.
In what manner? I want to
In
know which.
what man? I was trying to be that, Suhana was that rude one, like, bol deti hai muh pe. Those type.
Yeah, she was brutally honest, but she was very talented.
Yeah.
In my head, making Suhana lovable was a huge responsibility.
And she was good at heart. That was,
Yeah, that's what made her endearing. Otherwise,
yeah.
except for her compassion towards and empathy towards others,
Yeah.
everything about Suhana's behavior was not a very societally acceptable and
Yeah.
a very pleasant experience for people who are suffering her. That's exactly how the show reflected it. But that's not something I would want anybody to emulate or be. I would want everybody to be neutral and be balanced. But it's now I cannot help that because as a child I suffer the impressions of my own childhood. I suffer the impressions of the films I've watched, the books I've read, the friends I've been with, my life, my childhood journey. So everybody is we are all souls born to suffer our own karma. So eventually I just gave up, because in my head I was like, how I should not, hurt anyone. And I was feeling, I used to be really over baggaged with the fact that, shit, I don't want to impact anyone negatively. But then later, as I aged also, and as I had more acceptance, I learned to accept the fact that we are all born to suffer our own karma, and we are all born to live our own spiritual journey. So, no amount of effort I do is going to stop someone else's progress or regress. So, at the end of the day, I had to accept the fact that I have to just suffer my own karma and not be a hindrance in anyone else's journey.
Yes. And we, like, everybody knows you have been from, you are Govinda's niece, you are Krishna Abhishek's cousin, you are yourself a like, and complete actor. So do you feel that pressure anytime, like, as an actor, like, they have done so big works, they are doing it, they are still doing some good films and all, so do you feel that pressure as an actor?
Why should I feel that pressure on them? I don't feel it for anybody. My pressure is to excel at the raw material I've received from my creative team and my director. My pressure is never outdoing someone else. I find that I find it very regressive of a thought that I'm not here to outdo anyone. I'm not here to steal anyone's limelight. I've got enough of my own. You know, I don't want to steal your limelight. In fact, I'll lend you mine. I'm that person. I'm not gonna steal your show. I'm not here to steal your show. I'm in my own lane and I'm doing my own thing. And I don't, you know, in fact, when you try to overpower, overshadow, or try to steal someone else's limelight, it makes you look like an insecure person. That's a very
Yeah.
insecure act.
Yeah.
So, I'm not insecure. I've completely accepted myself. And I have completely accepted my negatives, my flaws. I love my imperfections. My imperfections define me. My failures define me more than my successes and my progressiveness. And
Yeah.
so I'm not here. I don't like it. I don't like doing that to people. In fact, if somebody doesn't, when someone is suffering something, I will happily give that person my spot. You can happily come and sit with me, and we'll shine in this together. I'm more inclusive than I'm not into subtracting people. I'm not. Unless the people leave me, it's okay. That's your life. I'm okay with it. You can come as you please, leave as you please. There's no restrictions.
Okay. And I had one question here from somebody.
Yes.
Okay. I cannot find that. I'll speak it. Like, they were asking now that so many shows are being rerun on television. So which of your shows you want to see on television again?
Sasural Genda Phool was running on Star Utsav recently. It
Yeah.
just shut, I think 2 months prior, just shut down. And Radha Ki Beti, I think, is running right now in Rishte Colors America. Rishte
Yeah.
America, I think. Yeah, I think Radha Ki Beti is running over there. Sasural Genda Phool is also running simultaneously on Hotstar.
Yeah.
Gurgaon is running on Netflix, and Koshampa is on Z5. Now I have Ketu on Z5. So the
Yes.
thing is that my audience, if they want to reach out and to see my work, then they can. I'm available on every platform right now. So that is something I'm very proud of. That
Yeah.
they can revisit all my work on the digital platform, which I think where television suffers is because you cannot revisit it. On the
Yeah.
digital platform, you have it forever. So you just you can go there and
Yes.
just rewatch, refresh.
Yes. And there was another question that now that Aarti had been into Big Boss, so do you see yourself into the Big Boss house anytime in future?
I have been receiving Big Boss opportunities for the last 6 to 7 years, and I have completely expressed myself. Every time I give them some sort of feedback, and I don't think I don't like that show because as a viewer, like I don't agree to the violence of emotions in that show. I
Yeah.
think people get emotionally very disturbed in that show because it brings out there are some really testing situations put out there in that show. So I don't agree with putting my personal life on test. I don't want to prove anything to anybody. I don't want to prove how nice person. Do you think I'm a bad person? Okay, fine, I'm a bad person. It's more. I don't want to seek personal validation from anyone. I give a damn about it. You don't like me as a person? Suit yourself. Okay, in a very unabashed manner. I'll be very honest. You don't like my personal life? Take a hike. You're not my friend. If you don't like me as an actor, that's where it makes a difference. That's when I will take your feedback. That's when I get interested. When you don't agree to me as an artist, that is where I see growth in myself. Personal life, I'm not friends with anybody. I have my own set of friends, and I have my own set of family members who have accepted me wholeheartedly with all my imperfections. So if somebody doesn't like me on a personal level in the media, it's none of my business. My personal life, if my personal life causes anyone discomfort, is none of my business. That is something you got to deal with. I'm not I'm not being intrusive in anyone's personal life out here. So, and I would expect the same from everyone as well towards my personal life. So, and I don't make personal remarks on anyone. I'm creatively collaborative. I'm inclusive. I'm a friend's friend, but I don't make friends easily anymore because my job is emotions. You know, emotions for me are a lot of work. So for me, a new friend is a lot of work with emotions. So so it's a little overbearing for me because I anyways have a lot of friends and a lot of family members. So to keep
Yeah.
up with them is a daily task. So having a new friend and a new group of friends is a little too much for me because all the time I'm trying to neutralize myself because it is better for me the more neutral I am. It works better for me in my profession. I can communicate effectively, and I can express myself completely, and I can articulate my feelings completely. You know, so I'm my personal life. I'm not willing to put my personal life on a public platform. I don't want my personal life to be up for scrutiny, which it anyways is. It is subconsciously out there. People like to
Yeah.
scrutinize an actor's personal life. Fine, it's their choice. I agree to your choice, but I'm not a part of it.
Yeah. So there were also some people who were asking about how are you, like we are in this lockdown situation, and then how are you taking care of your skin and hair?
Okay, so for me, skin and hair has a lot to do with my internal health. Sanskriti, I'll be very honest, the minute I get stressed, I lose hair in bunches.
Yes.
So I have lost hair in bunches. So I had to literally chop my hair off because I was a little stressed, and my parts, the acting parts also, Gurgaon and Poshampa, really took a lot from me emotionally. So
Yeah.
post the release of Gurgaon, my hair has fallen in bunches, and my hair had become so thin, the size of my little finger, like so thin, scanty. So I just had to heal myself emotionally and physically. So my process was to heal my internal health. See, genetically we are all designed to achieve a certain amount of hair and skin quality. So you
Yeah.
have to if you have thin hair, you need to trace back to your ancestral history. See, if your
Yeah.
mother has thin hair or if your father has thin hair, then I get the curly hair from my father. So, I trace back to my DNA. So our DNA is like our own, that's one thing which does not match with anybody in the whole world. We are all
Yeah.
different. We're all different. We have to embrace our individuality. So, and the idea is to achieve the best of your internal health. So, if I have a weak gut, then I will have bad skin. So if you're having
Yeah.
breakouts, if you're having a sort of a hormonal issue, then you will get breakouts, you'll get acne, you'll get some very scary skin issues. So the idea is to keep your hormones in balance. But in our life is so fast paced right now, you know that so many girls are suffering PCOD. Girls are
Yeah.
having a very off menstrual cycle, needs to be on time, and our
Yeah.
sleeping or timings are very important. You need 7 hours of sleep. You need nutrition because anyways there's so much of pollution. There's so much of stress. You
Yeah.
don't realize, but we are stressed.
Yeah.
Life itself, the societal structure was not designed to give you stress, but it was designed to bring law and order. But it is so overbearing with the kind of responsibilities, and life is so expensive that it is somehow a design for stress for us.
Yeah.
So the idea is to be calm, be neutral, and deal with things head on. So the
Yeah.
minute you're not stressed, your hair will not fall. If you have a clean stomach, you have a clean gut, your hair, your skin will be beautiful. You won't need makeup. You won't need hair products. And on top of that, my profession, I am constantly, I just straighten my hair, and I was
Yeah.
doing more damage to myself. So and that's the need of my character, which I don't have any complaints. But as an individual, my responsibility is to heal. Like
Yeah.
tomorrow a friend can come and emotionally damage you, but you have to be
Yeah.
responsible towards yourself to heal yourself completely. So my responsibility is to heal my internal health, have good fiber, don't have packaged foods, do not have packaged foods. Even the kind of chips we have, it's got hydrogenated oil. The quality of packaged food is anyways questionable. In fact, the
Yeah.
quality of vegetables is questionable with the amount of pesticides we eat. So they need
Yeah.
to be sterilized. Your food needs to be properly cooked. Even if you're having a salad, look at the timing of the salad. Your salad does not, during monsoon, you should avoid a lot of leafy vegetables because of the nature of the weather. You have to be in tandem with the country you're living with. We are not living in a European country which is sub-zero temperatures. We live in India, which is a hot country. So you have to agree with the climate of your country. You have to eat foods. If now it's summer, then have kokam. It's a coolant. If you're not getting nariyal pani, have lots of water at home. Since we're all suffering a lockdown,
Yeah.
if you have a gut issue, you can have satisabol, which is psyllium husk, which will clear your gut. You can have
Yeah.
not to have too many fruits because it's a lot of sugar. Avoid
Yeah.
sugar. Not Maybe 2 fruits in a day is enough. You could have any fruit. Even a banana has a lot of potassium and a lot of nutritional value. Just
Yeah.
have 2 fruits. Have proper home cooked meals on timing. Just see your timings are point, and keep
Yeah.
your gut clean.
Yes. Thank you for those tips.
Yeah, because I emotionally eat Sanskriti. My
Okay.
issue is I eat emotionally. The minute I'm stressed now and I get anxiety, I overfeed myself. And I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I don't have any sort of substance abuse. But my substance abuse to my body is overeating because food becomes a feel good factor. That's what we do out of anxiety. So the
Yeah.
idea is to not connect food to your happy thought. Food is not a happy thought. Food is a nutrition thought. So
Yeah.
food is not a happy thought. Happy thought is weight loss. So I have tuned my head. So that's how I'm tuning myself. Till date, I eat a chocolate and I become very happy. But chocolate has these, what do you call them? Chocolate has this thing which is addictive. So you get addicted
Yeah.
to chocolate. It becomes chocolate. So many people, so many friends of mine are addicted to chocolate
Yeah.
for feeling good. So you cannot associate food to happiness. Food is not a happy thought.
No.
Nutrition is a happy thought.
Yes.
That's it.
It was really fun chatting with you.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we loved your tips, and
Thank
I'm
you.
definitely going to remember those.
Yes. Are you trying to lose weight?
No, right. Actually, I am okay with, like, I don't think I should. When I feel I have to do it, I'll do it. But then
Yeah,
if
yeah.
somebody's telling me constantly, I cannot do that.
No, no. Why should anybody tell you? It's none of their business.
Yeah, that is what. So I don't hear all those things. So it's okay.
Yeah, because I used to be obese as well. But I used
Yeah,
to be very unhappy because I used to get fat. I love I love shopping and I love clothes, right? So I wanted to fit into every garment. So that was my motivation to be fit. So the idea was to be fit and not you know. But be
Yeah,
happy, that's
until
it.
I'm fit.
Not to
Until
a,
I'm fit, I'm okay.
yeah, as far as you can walk around and you can
Yeah,
pull off a labor deed, it's all good,
yeah,
right?
yes.
So, thanks, Sanskrit. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah, take care. Bye.